Welcome, everyone. This is the Telarus Tuesday call for March 20th, 2018. Today is the March equinox, or vernal equinox. It's the day on which, for one brief happy moment, the Earth's axis is tilted neither away from nor toward, but is rather perpendicular to the sun's rays. So the period of sunlight and darkness on this day is nearly equal, depending on where you are. We call it the first day of spring in the northern hemisphere, and especially on my golf course, which in my mind makes today a national holiday. So welcome. I'll be at the first tee this evening for the ceremonial first divot of the season, and hope you'll enjoy the first day of spring as well. Welcome, everyone, to our Telarus Tuesday call. We invite you to log in to our video feed for all of today's exciting information and to submit questions and comments for our presenters today via our chat window. It's all at Telarus.com. Start. I'm Doug Miller, joined today by Telarus VP of Sales Operations for Mobility, Tiffany Wolf. Tiffany and her team are your experts in developing, proposing, and closing mobility and IoT, Internet of Things, opportunities and solutions. These are exciting and growing spaces in the telecom market, and Telarus is proud to provide our partners with this specialized internal team of experts who assist you in growing your mobility and your IoT practice. Today and all this month, Tiffany and some very special guests will be teaching us how to win with mobility, Internet of Things, and related opportunities. Today, Tiffany welcomes both T-Mobile and THINaër to the Telarus Tuesday call. Those exciting presentations and your questions will be coming up in just minutes. If you happen to miss last week's call, our month-long training and discussion of mobility and related solutions continued with exciting presentations from both Sprint and from Sierra Wireless. Excellent information, along with tremendous prospecting and sales ideas, and many questions answered. Definitely worth a listen. You can check it out. That recording is available now in your Telarus partner back office. We have some exciting regional training and networking events to tell you about briefly today. Hope you'll join us. First, for Telarus partners near Austin, Texas, it's the Telarus and Rackspace Boot Camp from 1 until 4 p.m. Central Time at Max's Wine Bar. Join Rackspace and Telarus as we learn how to create cloud opportunities and tackle the cloud conversation with customers to increase both customer loyalty and your revenue. We'll break down an opportunity from first discovery conversation all the way through to the close. You'll walk away with the knowledge to win the cloud conversation. It's the Rackspace Boot Camp. It's in Austin. It's this Thursday. And second, for our Telarus partners in Utah, we hope you'll join Telarus next Tuesday, March 27th, from 11:30 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. at Topgolf in Midvale for a new and powerful event we're calling the Telarus Technology Series. This event lasts just over an hour. It focuses on a specific industry technology. There will be 4 progressive and innovative suppliers who will each present a 15-minute case study from which you'll take away a specific roadmap to replicate that success. And hey, it's Topgolf. You can't go wrong. We'll see our Utah partners there next Tuesday for the first Telarus Technology Series event. And as you see on the screen, our Telarus Innovation Conferences are in full swing. See what I did there? Again this month. These TICs, as we call them, are immersive technology training experiences with workshops and case studies on security, SD-WAN, contact center, and much more. Take your business to the next level and network with the industry experts. Today, we are in Orange County, California, and in Waterford, Connecticut. And on Thursday this week, the Telarus Innovation Conference is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the Franklin Institute to meet with our Philly partners. These are outstanding opportunities designed to help you take full advantage of Telarus tools, resources, and support. Check the schedule for the Telarus Innovation Conference coming soon to your city. And it's also time to begin letting you know about 2018's biggest event, the Telarus Partner Exchange. All Telarus partners are warmly invited to join us in Florida this year at the Boca Raton Resort, June 19th through 21st, for the pinnacle event of the year. Telarus is bringing together hundreds of partners and our best-of-breed suppliers for a week of training, networking, business building, and fun, all at one of the most beautiful beach settings Florida has to offer. There's nothing quite like the Telarus Partner Exchange. All of the information, including agenda and registration info, can be found at Telarus.com, Partner Exchange. Now note that spelled partner, the letter X, change. As you see on the slide, that link will allow you to register, reserve a hotel room, and select your Friday activity, including snorkeling, fishing, golfing, and the ever-popular spa treatment. Take a look and plan to attend the 2018 Telarus Partner Exchange. We can't wait to see you there. You can register for these and for other great Telarus business building meetings, activities, and opportunities, all at Telarus.com events. And if you can't join us in person for these particular events, we want to remind you that Telarus and our suppliers have posted a mountain of exciting, informative training for our partners, both live and recorded. It's all in your Telarus partner back office at agent.telarus.com. Simply log in and click the training link to access all the training videos, conference calls, upcoming scheduled webinars, the Telarus document library, and our exclusive supplier product matrix. Telarus has also compiled all of our suppliers' current spiff and promotion information into a single, easy-to-use site at promo.telarus.com, and you really should check these out. There are some fantastic offerings listed there. And an update from Patrick Oborn. Check out these two time-saving shortcuts. If you need to quickly see the exclusive Telarus UCAS matrix, just go to ucaasmatrix.com. It's easy. That's ucasmatrix.com. And how about SD-WAN? If you need to see those suppliers and quickly compare their offerings, just go to sdwanmatrix.com, and there it is. Your Telarus agent ID and password are required, but there's no more hunting around the back office for these powerful and easy-to-use selling tools. Check them out. So many powerful and exciting tools available from Telarus to help you succeed. For a tour of and training on the available tools and resources, simply contact your Telarus Partner Support Manager. Telarus is built for you. And now for today's main event, we are talking mobility, Internet of Things, and related technologies, opportunities, and applications this month. We're joined once again by Tiffany Wolf. She is Telarus VP of Sales Operations for Mobility, and her special guests from T-Mobile and from THINaër. Tiffany and her team of specialists are the very best in these fields. They have completely opened these areas of telecom for our Telarus partners. They know the markets, the pricing, the strategies, and the available compensation. Tiffany, welcome to you and to your two very special guests. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much.
We're glad to have you back on the call. Tell us what you've got planned for us today.
Great. Yes. Hey, good morning and afternoon to everybody out there. Thanks again for joining us. As Doug mentioned, we have a great lineup for you. Our first presenter today is going to be John Morgantini with T-Mobile. And then we'll hear from Tricia Shevlin from THINaër. And at the end of the presentations, we'll have a Q&A. So I think we should just go ahead and kick it off. Doug, you ready to go?
John, it sounds like it's up to you.
Yep, okay. John Morgantini, National Channel Manager with T-Mobile. He's here today to discuss mobility in our ever-changing marketplace and how to leverage T-Mobile to grow your residual compensation with mobility. John?
Thank you, Tiffany, and good morning to Telarus. It's great to be here this morning. I appreciate it. I want to thank the entire Telarus team for having us on board. So just to add on to what Tiffany said, I'm the National Channel Manager here at T-Mobile. I've been with the organization 5 years. I've been within telecommunications about 25 years, spending most of my time at Sprint and Verizon on the wireline sales side. So I understand both the mobility piece and the wireline piece and have a good perspective on what you all work with on a daily basis. So my role within the organization is to work with our partners so that they understand the value proposition that T-Mobile brings to the marketplace, and that the partners have confidence to be able to deliver that message to your prospective clients. So that's going to be our focus today. And we're going to talk about two things. First thing we're going to talk about is mobility and the current status within the United States and the opportunities that exist within the marketplace. And the second thing we're going to talk about is the why T-Mobile and why it's best to present those for your business customer needs. So if we go to the next slide, I'm going to stay on that, stop you for a couple of minutes. Let me give you a little bit of background here. So right now, the status of mobility in the United States is that it's a great market. And the reason why it's a great market is because there's a lot of intrigue, there's a lot of contemplation, and there's also a little bit of complacency out there. So let me explain. We've got 5G right around the corner, right? We've got IoT, and IoT isn't outdone by the fact that we have narrowband IoT. And a lot of your clients are saying to themselves, what is this going to do for me? Where do I need to position myself? So it's a fantastic time to start having conversations with your clientele, because the questions are swirling. There's some complacency where they've been basically doing the same thing for a number of years. And we all know in technology, if we're not taking advantage of what's out there and we stay the same, we're going to get left behind. Correct? So tremendous opportunities. And let me start by telling you a short story to prove my point here. Several weeks ago, I'm in Dallas, Texas, and we're meeting with a client who wanted to talk mobility with us to see what T-Mobile can do for them. And we find out during this meeting that they're spending $137,000 a month on wireless. So it's not a small company, a fairly large-sized organization. But what we learned in this meeting was that as they had optimized their WAN, and they had optimized and looked for solutions in telephony and in infrastructure and service and software, right, the one area that they clearly left behind was mobility. And it became the largest single service contract that they had with any vendor. And they needed to do something about this. Admittingly, I think they're a little bit embarrassed about it. But I will tell you, team, that this is probably 75 to 80% of the businesses that are in the U.S. today. They are folks that you're doing business with today. They're folks that you've done business with for the last 5, 10, 15, 25 years maybe. And the opportunities to advance mobility and have mobility discussions within these clients is no better today than it's ever been. So what we'd like to impart today is the confidence to be able to have that conversation, and why T-Mobile is the best position currently to be a mobility provider for your clients. So a little bit of background on T-Mobile. Everybody knows the story, right? 5-8 years ago, little known, last place provider. End of 2012, we were probably getting wireless coverage to about 100 million people in the U.S., and it wasn't even 4G LTE. So 2013, we decided to change things up. We decided to change business wireless and wireless in general for the better. And we started to increase our 4G LTE footprint. And lo and behold, we started taking customers on by storm, right? So by the end of 2015, when we had about coverage to about 225 million people, 250 million people, we said if we double our LTE coverage again, what will that do for us? So by the end of the last quarter, 2017, we had coverage to 322 million people in the United States with 4G LTE. And not only was that 4G LTE coverage, but it was also the fastest 4G LTE network out there. A little company by the name of Ookla. I'm being facetious. They are a larger company. You might know them. You might have their app on your phone. They run by speedtest.com as well. They have sourced this information. So for the last 3 years, T-Mobile has been the fastest 4G LTE network out there. So,
John, I'm going to interrupt you for just a second. This is Doug Miller. I apologize for interrupting your presentation. We're getting a lot of feedback from our partners. They can barely hear you. Can you boost your volume just a little bit or get a little bit closer? So sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, my apologies. I'm on a wired phone, and is that any better, Doug?
That is a little bit better. Thanks so much. We want to be sure to hear all of this. Thank you.
Sure. So my apologies, team. So we built the network out, and people started to come. Here's the fact that you can tell your customers and clients. Over the last 4 years, T-Mobile has more net new subscribers than all 3 of our competitors combined. So we have almost 100% of all the net new adds to T-Mobile, both consumer and business, across all of our competition. That means people are coming, people are staying, and they like the service. So having a big network and having the fastest network doesn't necessarily mean that you do mobility the best, right? I mean, a lot of folks have big networks out there. Doesn't necessarily mean they're the best in the business. So if we can go to the next slide, one of the reasons why we're best able, next slide please. One of the reasons why we're best able to present this offering to your customers and have the confidence, and you have the confidence to know that it's a great offering, is because J.D. Power in 2018 gave us a clean sweep. We swept every category of business customer service that they market. Very small business, small to mid-sized business, and large-scale enterprise. So J.D. Power, the best in the business at what they do, has ranked us the best in business service for wireless services. So now we have a network that's reaching 322 million people. We have the fastest LTE network out there, and we have the best customer support backing up that service. But we didn't stop there. Can we go to the next slide, please? Open Signal, company that is not a pay-for company. In other words, you cannot go to them and say, run a study for me and we'll pay you. They have voted T-Mobile as of August 2017, and then again in January of 2018 as the top mobile network in the United States. And here again, much like J.D. Power, we have a clean sweep. We swept every single category, from download to latency to availability, every single one. And it's because of the vision that we had to change wireless, build a network that everybody can use, and to deliver them the best absolute product. So between having the fastest, the best ranked network out there, and the best customer support and care, we feel that you have the confidence to go out there and present T-Mobile to your customers. So if we can go to the next slide, let's talk about what you can actually sell and what you can earn. And first and foremost, know that you are earning commissions, residual commissions with T-Mobile. We pay a spiff up front, and the commissions you get with your Telarus team. They'll explain that in its entirety, but understand that we are residual based. And you're earning residual in 3 basic areas, which are top sellers. So the first area is unlimited use phone service. And this may sound kind of crazy right now, but most of the competitors out there will not allow an organization to have all their users have unlimited phone, text, and data. But T-Mobile will. So whether your client has 10 employees or they have 10,000 employees, we can put them on an unlimited plan that includes all their voice, all their text, all their data, usage in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, and also an international roaming feature, which is included. And this is all done for $25 per month per user. Folks, that's really a no-brainer, right? $25 a month, it includes everything. It's scalable, it's predictable, and it'll work. The second area that we see a lot of success with is business continuity. And this comes in 2 flavors. So the first is this. A lot of you all sell cable, coax, DSL, narrowband, T1s, that sort of solution. And it takes 20 to 45 days in some instances to install these circuits. And then you don't get a backup solution with it. So what we recommend is couple this with a T-Mobile data plan and a wireless router. You get day 1 connectivity, so we can install this in 2-3 days, right? And then when the wired circuit comes in, then that will revert to backup, and your customer already has a primary and a backup solution in place. And you're adding somewhere between $25 and $50 per month to every circuit that you install. And at the end of the month, you'll have more zeros at the end of your checks. So that's our goal here. The second flavor is more of an SD-WAN flavor, where we are not an SD-WAN provider, but we are an integral part of a lot of SD-WAN solutions in that the value is simply we have a wireless last mile. So if your Ethernet comes in and your coax comes in and the fiber gets cut, you still have connectivity out to the network in the outside world via the wireless connectivity that T-Mobile can provide. And then last but not least, every company, whether they're full service up to folks who run fleets of 100,000 vehicles within their enterprise, they are looking for workforce automation tools. They are looking for ways to streamline activities, drive revenue through giving the resources to folks in the field. And we sell a lot of tablets and plans that have vertical-based applications. And if you go to the App Store, you'll find thousands. There's thousands of these vertical-built applications. We know some of the better ones that we can put on a tablet in a data plan, and we can deliver cost-effective, streamlined, and revenue-producing workforce automation tools for your clients' employees so that they can achieve the goals that they have within their business. So it's not possible to go into everything that we can do today, but these three items are the largest selling, and we're having a lot of success with them. So what I encourage you to do is send your wireless requests to mobility@telarus.com. We don't expect everybody here to be an expert in mobility, but let's get it to the team. We work very well together, and by teaming, we have a much larger success rate than going it alone. So we encourage you to get those over to us, encourage us to bring those opportunities. We'll help you close the business, and I want to thank you and appreciate the time that you've given T-Mobile this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, John, for a fantastic overview of T-Mobile. As a reminder, everybody, we will have Q&A at the end, but keep your questions coming in the online chat forum. They're fantastic. Next up, we have Tricia Shevlin with THINaër. Tricia is Vice President of Sales and is here today to discuss IoT, Internet of Things, with a focus on solving real problems with actionable data. Tricia?
Thank you, Tiffany. Honored to be part of the Telarus community and excited to share with all partners on the call how THINaër is powering the Internet of people, places, and things. And boy, what an exciting time to be part of the Telarus family for each of you, with a focus on innovation and disruption, machine-to-machine and mobility, as T-Mobile just eloquently highlighted, all of which are foundational drivers for IoT and digital transformation. You can go to the next slide. That's okay. Thank you. With Gartner predicting that by 2021, each hour, I said every hour, there'll be 1 million devices procured and implemented. And this means that our partner community has an immediate and very large opportunity to be part of this IoT revolution. I'm looking forward to shoulder having success as a team. I did want to, as far as IoT, there's so many definitions out there in the market today. This is how we define IoT. THINaër has the first channel-ready, enterprise-grade IoT platform to build the Internet of people, places, and things. And as you can see on this slide, it's highlighted as people, places, and things become interconnected. You can gain visibility and insight into new data. And THINaër is focused on using the best technology to make people, places, and things smart. And that differentiator is Bluetooth Low Energy. If you want to go to the next slide, there are two verticals that we're going to touch on today that have put stakes in the ground that are heavily invested in IoT, and that is healthcare and manufacturing. Good. You can go back one slide. Sorry, I'm not there yet. Thank you. You can stay there for 1 second. These two, I'll highlight business outcomes. You may hear this word a lot around IoT or use cases. I'm going to highlight a few of these here over the next few slides. But healthcare is expected to reach $136 billion investing in IoT by 2021, with manufacturers investing $70 billion over the next 2 years. And we do this by monitoring people and things and analysis of performance data, which provides visibility into operational availability and the impact on productivity and efficiency. In healthcare, here's an example highlighted where patient care is improved by optimizing workflows, enabling staff to spend more time and providing best care to their patients. In manufacturing, it is productivity, right? By understanding where your people and things move in your environment, knowing how and when they move, obviously, again, achieving productivity and efficiency. On the next slide, I'll highlight environmental conditioning monitoring. So when we talk about environmental conditioning, healthcare procedure rooms are safer, more compliant, and generate, keyword here, more revenue by tracking environmental conditions of all operating rooms, labs, and this is to ensure safe and operable environments at all times. Interesting here is that in OR, I always thought that if humidity got too high, you'd have a higher rate of infection. But in actuality, if humidity is too low, it's extremely dangerous and the tools catch on fire. So it's critical. By tracking environmental allows hospitals to be in compliance as well as the Joint Commission. And in manufacturing and environmental conditioning, it is used to track environmentals and extend machine life. We just had a really big win with a Telarus partner with a very large logo on Friday, which is tracking environmental conditions to extend machine life, that same thing. And I appreciate it. Now we're going to touch on what she's highlighted on this slide is equipment and inventory costs. So THINaër is enabling secure tracking of high value or critical moving assets. Knowing where things are at any given time can be critical to transforming business operations, reducing risk, saving money, improving efficiency. And as you can see, you can track equipment costs and inventory are reduced by tracking those items. And the platform allows you to easily locate and monitor those key inventory equipment. And this includes things that other technologies haven't been able to track previously, like RFID. And those things that's of a real interest to manufacturing is going to be raw materials and work in process, right? So if you can find your things, get to a warehouse, you can reduce expenses. And then two of the use cases that are highlighted there on the bottom, we had a client that threw away an $80,000 an asset, right? They were really excited to place beacons, right, and gateways in their environment to identify when their assets are leaving an unapproved or approved area to ensure it's not ending up in an unapproved or even in the trash, right? And another client in healthcare, Baylor, their goal is to reduce 10% of equipment each month they were missing. Nurses hoard things. Believe it or not, people do steal things in healthcare. And now that THINaër isn't deployed, they're believing they can achieve 10 to 15% savings on medical movable equipment. So very exciting from an RI perspective. On the next slide, we touched on this as well about people, places, and things, but at its core, THINaër is an IoT platform. It's agnostic, and it's focused on people, places, and things. The capabilities of the platform are only limited by the imagination. And we laugh about this all the time because healthcare and manufacturing seem like the ones we're targeting, that we're getting pulled into everything from agriculture to cannabis industry. It's really interesting where we're headed. But I did want to go just a little bit deeper into defining what the Internet of People, Places, and Things are. And I'm just going to touch on 4 bullet points here. One is intelligent database layered on top of raw and just data. Second one being agnostic, can utilize any Bluetooth beacon or sensor. So those are all the sensors that are out there today, or it's anything with a Bluetooth low energy signal, meaning could be a tablet or even a current cell phone today. The platform is context aware, industry specific and configurable. And then we have data available via API for third-party integration or export. So as you can see, all these capabilities coupled with actionable data and insights provides any organization with the most comprehensive view of their operations ever. And I did want to not spend too much time. I just did a few minutes want to cover on the next slide to showcase a few pieces of the hardware that is used in the THINaër solution, especially since most people are visual in nature. And this is just a sample. There are tons of beacons out there. That landscape is changing daily. They range from some battery-powered, they are battery-powered, some replaceable, some not. Depending on size and functionality, their range is between 7 meters to 7 meters. Batteries last 1 to 5 years. There is actually a beacon being developed now that's going to be a game changer for our industry, and that's how we're going to reach these 200 billion connected devices that everyone's touting. They're actually working on the first battery-free Bluetooth beacon that will be sub $1. So it's supposed to be out end of this year, next year. So very exciting time for platforms like us that have, again, can read anything Bluetooth low energy. The next slide picture here is one of the gateways that we use is Wi-Fi. And the paradigm shift that we are driving in terms of cost, right, with our hardware is if any of you have ever have knowledge or deployed an RFID solution in healthcare, those readers are typically range between $1,500 to $5,000. Our readers, these are essentially a Wi-Fi gateway reader. They're very tiny. They're 3 inches long by 1.5 inch wide and 1/2 inch thick, and they only cost $49.99. So at that price point, you can put them everywhere and still achieve a much more advantageous cost. You can add gateways to achieve room level accuracy, floor level, zone, easily able to implement and configure to meet clients' conditions. And they're really easy to connect to Wi-Fi. You'll see here. Advancing to the next slide, this is where it gets really exciting. THINaër has the first solution of its kind improving the continuum of care. So we have with a platform and wearable innovation highlighted here on the slide that informs, engages, empowers providers and patients to better manage well-being and health. This band, again, a Bluetooth low energy, Sensogram is one of our partners. It detects falls, accurately monitors critical vital signs and activity, right? And pretty exciting stuff. Fall detection is a big use for this one. We also have a healthcare company wanting to do VIP patient arrival where they're shipping these bands in advance of them showing up for surgery so they can track not only their location but some of their vitals here. And the next slide is pretty exciting. This is a ring, an actual ring, and it's game-changing for healthcare. As you can see, it has many abilities. You can literally do your blood pressure, heart, respiration rate, hydration, and also the ability to perform an EKG from this ring. And this is not just limited to healthcare. This can be used for industrial. Imagine an oil and gas company that wants to explore the use of IoT technologies to improve worker safety. They could equip the crew at a location or on an oil rig with wearables that monitor their wellness, as well as provides real-time alerts about potentially hazardous conditions or violations of safety protocols and procedures. So the landscape of these devices, they're growing daily, as I talked about, and you can see here that this is game-changing for both healthcare and anything industrial. The next slide is really just going to touch on why THINaër. Oh, sorry, there's 2 more here I wanted to just highlight here. Daily, when I say daily, the landscape of devices is changing. We also have the ability to extend, we talk about the continuum of care. It's not only just wearables, beacons, and sensors. Also, there's pill bottles that can track when you open, how often you open them. There's scales that all have Bluetooth low energy signal that can also transmit data back to your healthcare providers to help improve that continuum of care. And then the last slide we'll touch on is why THINaër. And really the paradigm shift here we have brought to the industry is that our solution, number one, is a fraction of the cost of traditional RTLS asset tracking systems like in healthcare, a couple, name a few of these, Stanley, Aeroscale, or Centrex. We're also much easier to deploy. We talk about why THINaër. We can deploy a hospital room in 2 minutes or less, an OR in 5 minutes or less without huge infrastructure costs. This means that partners that have sales organizations can, if they want to deploy this, right, very easily, doesn't take engineers to deploy our solution. And also easier to maintain, obviously all the other bullets there, but I also didn't want to leave without stating this. Selling THINaër and IoT allows you to cross lines of business inside the organization. You are no longer only having technology discussions with CIOs and CTOs. True digital transformation impacts the entire C-suite and allows the partners to move into CEO, COO, and CFO engagements. And then just to end, we do have, first of its kind, we've been able to improve outcomes across VIP patient arrival. We have improved operational efficiency and helps reduce emissions through a solution that I'll share more in the upcoming weeks called THINaër at Home. But I'm going to leave you with this. One easy question that can really help you open the door with your partners, with your customers, for partners to ask customers, and it's very non-threatening. It is this simple question. What technologies have you considered or deployed to take advantage of IoT or digital transformation? And you ask that question, and then you pause, and you'll be insightful for what you hear. I had a partner go through this exercise with me 2 weeks ago. A customer he's been doing business with for 5 years, he has a relationship with the president, uncovered 3 different technologies that he could have procured if he would have asked this question. In regards to fleet management, it was a machine-to-machine mobility tracking. There's all kinds of things that could be uncovered by just asking a question and then letting customers answer. So I appreciate the time today. Thank you, Tiffany, for highlighting mobility and IoT this month. Thank you, THINaër, Telarus, for the opportunity. And then I look forward to Tiffany and I, if you guys want to have a deeper dive or discussion in regards to, opportunities, I'd be happy. We welcome that. We're happy to make ourselves available this week. So thank you for the time.
Thanks so much, Tricia, for a stellar review of THINaër. That was fantastic. And to keep everybody, the next thing we're going to review quickly is just the tip of the day, and we're going to go straight into Q&A. So please keep your questions coming. And the slide is up just to basically review what our mobility and IoT team can do for you. So again, our contact information is here. We're able to have strategic conversations with you and your customers to uncover some of these solutions that we've talked about today, whether it's business continuity, failover, disaster recovery, to wearables, to tracking. We're doing all sorts of different types of opportunities across the globe, honestly, from tracking shipping containers, fleet management, to traditional handset activations, just a variety of things. At the end of the day, you don't have to do this alone. Our team is literally there to work side by side with you. So please feel free to reach out, engage with us. We're here to strategize on your opportunities and just kind of think through your existing base and what we can tackle with you. With that, everybody, we're going to go ahead and walk right into some of the Q&A. There's been some really great questions posed this morning. So let me just review here. One, Tricia, there was a couple of things going back and forth. Most of us know Advanix, obviously still there, and THINaër, and owned by the same company, or by the same owners. Why don't you go ahead and explain that dynamic between Advanix and THINaër?
Sure, yeah. So really interesting. Brian Merkling, our CEO of THINaër, visionary technologist, built the platform, $2 million, 18 months. So he had the opportunity to either partner with an organization or build from the ground up. So he did decide to partner with Advanix, so a sister company, to help, and using our sales distribution is how we have access to all of the great partners on this call today to go to market with. So it was a great marriage at the time. We're 2 separate companies, organizations with 2 different leaderships, but most definitely a sister company as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And over to you, John. We had a question come in for T-Mobile, and obviously, yes, we can bundle in different types of router solutions and so forth. But the question comes in from Trevin, a couple of T-Mobile questions. With a $25 user monthly unlimited plan, is there a minimum amount of users required? Is the unlimited data ever capped or throttled? You want to answer that, John?
Yeah, good questions, Trevin. So with the $25 per month per user, it does require 13 lines or more. Obviously, a low threshold, so most businesses can take advantage of it. So it's 13 lines or more. And on the data, we reserve the right at 50 gigabytes of usage to prioritize traffic. So once a user uses 50 gig in a month, what we would consider the top 2 to 3% of usage, we do reserve the right to prioritize.
Right. Industry standard. We have a great question that came in from Brad. Tricia, for you. What THINaër products would a hospital or surgery center use?
Great question. So typically depends on what their pain point is, but I'll give you a Baylor as one of the hospital groups we serve. One location was tracking medical movable equipment and doing environmental monitoring for their labs and ORs. There's a dreaded word in healthcare called joint commission. They are required, joint commission comes to hospital, something simple. They are required to provide the last 30 days of temperature, humidity readings. And through our platform on demand, they can hit a button and provide those when joint commission's on site, as well as medical movable equipment. Hospital, think of IV poles, blood pumps, wheelchairs, things that aren't smart, right, that aren't smart at all today. Those are some of the ones that we're seeing. Then Baylor Heart, they're really more interested in a wearable technology, that VIP patient experience I talked about. specialty hospitals and doctors want to create more of a white glove treatment. So they're really, what they're interested in is not only tracking the patient from, before they arrive, they're shipped a wearable, right? Then you can track them through the entire facility, where they're at, where they move, registration, surgery, post-recovery, and then THINaër at home, which more information will be pushed out soon, will be able to easily aggregate key information from many devices at home. So there is in healthcare, if you get discharged and readmitted within 30 days, insurance doesn't cover those fees. So a lot of interest being put in to make sure that continuum of care continues to set patients up for the best success in healing.
Okay, awesome. Oh, go ahead, Trish, sorry.
No, I was just saying, if anyone wants to dive deeper into use cases and verticals and just kind of into their own client base, I'd be happy to schedule calls after some sessions this week or next week to kind of dive deep with people, individuals.
Awesome. I think we have time for one or two more questions. And Trish, one more for you, and we know the answer to this, so I'll let you answer it. Are there APIs available from THINaër that will integrate with a hospital's IT system?
Correct, yes. So that's one of the key differentiators here when I talked about what is people, places, and things, is the ability to package the data up, contextualize the data, and either send it down through our platform or make it available via API for third-party integration and export. So think about all the data. We talk about, you may hear a lot, in the beginning we talked about the cognitive journey and, prescriptive and predictive. Well, you first have to have data first to start analyzing it. So you start by analyzing the data, and we do most definitely package that up to be used in their own environment or even to be used with other BI platforms if they want.
Awesome. And just a reminder, everybody, again, we're here to help you with your opportunities in deep dive, so feel free to reach out to us. And then the last question I'm going to throw over to John over at T-Mobile. John, you answered it in the chat window, but I kind of think it's important to elaborate on it a little bit. So Lad had a great question about some of the upload and download speeds. And if you want to tag that again in your response, and then maybe just...
Are you there, Tiffany?
John, I'm not sure where Tiffany may have gone, but we still hear you okay. Go ahead and feel free to respond.
Okay, great. Yeah, so good question again. The upload and download speeds and the routers are going to depend upon where they are. So as an example, Detroit, Atlanta, Dallas, a few of the places I've been recently, I've done tests where we've seen 60, 70, 80 meg downloads and 50 to 60 uploads, right? I would set the expectation with your clients that they're going to get somewhere between 10 to 15 on up to 25 by 25. There we have confidence that we'll deliver that, and in most failover solutions, that's more than adequate to support what they need.
Thanks, John. Tiffany, are you back? Can you hear us?
I'm still here, and I was unmuted. I'm not sure, had a little technical difficulty there asking for a pin, so apologies, everybody. So
we hear you just fine. Thanks.
So thanks so much, John. Appreciate the feedback there. And everybody, keep your questions coming. Shoot over an email. We're here to help. And with that, we'll wrap up today's call. And Doug, I'll throw it back to you.
Tiffany, thanks so much. And our thanks to John Morgantini from T-Mobile and Tricia Shevlin from THINaër. Excellent presentations today. I was fascinated the whole way through, and I was sending comments back and forth to Steph Lopez and Tiffany Wolf here, just some things that I was interested in as well and things that we want to pursue internally. So terrific presentation. And thanks to you both. Tiffany will be back with us again next Tuesday with much more on developing your mobility and IoT practices. By the way, Tiffany currently has three terrific blog posts you need to see. The first is called Becoming an Effective Mobility Consultant. The second is Why SD-WAN is a Game Changer for IoT. And the third is Think Outside the Box when selling mobility. These are must-reads for partners who wish to quickly grow this area of their practice. You can see all three at Telarus.com blog. And our thanks to each of you as well for your attendance and participation today and every Tuesday on our weekly call. We are back next week. I'm Doug Miller. Enjoy the first day of spring from the voice of Telarus. Have a great selling week, everyone.